The paint came out amazing. Intake manifold came in right now. The engine starts and runs great. Welcome back to another episode of Broken Mirror, guys. If you've been following along, then you know that previously I've been working on the Kia. I ended up ordering that intake manifold and it's actually on its way. Should be here by tomorrow at 9 p.m. it says. The other thing I did in the last episode was wet sand all the headlights down to 3,000 grit. I told you that I might end up getting the 5,000 grit just to see if it'll bring it to the next level. And I also mentioned that I wasn't able to finish painting the car because I did not have the masking tape. So I ran to the store today, grabbed the 5,000 grit wet sanding pad, and I also grabbed some tape. So what I want to do first is I actually want to put down the hood, put down the trunk, and tape off this whole area with plastic. And then I want to square out all these little areas that are low in the paint and build them up with some primer and then wet sand them smooth. This way, when I put on the clear coat, it'll be a nice, smooth transfer of everything. So that's my goal for right now. I'm going to start taping off this whole thing, start primering it up, get ready for paint. See you in a bit.
Just another sunny day in Southern California. It's where the people came to play. Don't let them transform you. Come and see what you've been missing on a little slice of heaven. It's the only place we're living. It's that West Coast point of view. Easy when it's always summertime fun for you and I. Carefree attitude. Who cares what the people think? It's been turning kinda gray in Southern California.
So I was able to tape everything off, get a few coats down. I ended up throwing a coat on this, which is gonna be different than the hood, but I wanna wet sand it, throw another light coat out and try to blend it out, but it does look pretty good. I was able to throw a couple coats of primer down. Those three spots, that's already starting to look better as far as being level with the paint. This one down here, I'm probably gonna need to throw on at least one more coat, maybe two. And then again, I'm gonna wet sand everything back down. So it basically just knocks off everything around it and just leaves that perfect layer. That's what I'm hoping. See if it works. Next thing I want to do, I want to hit these things with the 5,000 and see if it really does almost bring it to clear. I think it'll almost be perfect to the point where I could just rub a little rubbing compound on it and it would be perfect. Still going to clear coat them, but I just want to see how nice it can actually get. So I'm going to do that quick. See you in a bit. It's the next day. I ended up painting up the matching paint on the front here. The primer spots seem to be pretty good. There's a good ledge right here, so I think once I sand down, it should bring it right down to that clear coat and be level. The one I was struggling with the most was this spot on the bumper, which still kind of has a little divot, but I think by the time I sand it down, there will only be one little tiny dimple and that won't be too noticeable. Overall, I think it's looking pretty good. I now want to wet sand all this down, paint the matching paint on these, and then I need to sand this one down and make it level with the other ones, and then probably blend this in because I'm guessing this red is probably more red than the orange style that we found on the roof. The other thing is the intake manifold came in right now. Hopefully this fixes all the issues with it running. I'm probably going to wrap that back up quick just before I paint. So anyway, I'm going to get started. See you in a bit. All right, I believe I did all the blending pretty good. It looks pretty good. I know you can't really tell in the camera, but it should look a lot better. I ended up stopping taping because I figured it would get boring to you guys, but the back is looking pretty good. And I just did the last little brushing, trying to make sure the metallic flake kind of falls correctly. And I ended up running to the store. I picked up a clear coat blender, which basically, I guess once I cover this clear coat, I kind of spray a little bit in between and it kind of melts the old clear coat into the new and blends them, I guess. That's kind of what I took on it. But right now, while this is drying, it's supposed to take about 30 minutes to dry completely before I hit the clear coat. I want to wipe these off one more time with a shop towel, kind of get as much dust as I can off of them before we do the clear coat process, because I have to clear these, this whole body that's been painted, and the handle still. So a lot of little things. So I'm gonna get started. See you guys in a bit. All right guys, it is the next day. The paint came out amazing. I ended up finishing last night around 10:30 at night when I pulled that plastic off. But if you see, I mean, the blends came out amazing. Still probably have to come through and buff everything, but I mean, if you guys see, compared to when I did the Mazda, there is no kind of dry sprays, thick little dots that I have to work with. The roof line came out amazing. I don't even think, again, I don't think you guys can see where I did it. I know there's somewhere in here there was a spot, somewhere over here there was another spot, but I mean, it just came out awesome. But again, I don't think you guys can see, I can't see. The clear coat, the blending, I'm starting to feel like almost like a professional, and I know I'm not, I know people are probably laughing, but compared to where I've been, this is amazing what I learned just in this paint job. I mean, this spot came out great, blended right into the bumper. Again, these are two separate colors. This bumper's already been painted. The headlights all came out amazing. I mean, look at the Audi headlights, looking sharp. The Kia headlights just as nice, beautiful. So feeling very good with everything. I'm feeling way more confident in my work. There is a lot of trash on the roof just from me walking around and doing stuff last night as I was painting it. So everything's probably gonna need a light wet sand, but that's okay. I'm probably gonna let it cure for a couple days. I don't know if I'm supposed to do it now or in a couple of days. So I'm gonna do a little research, but the handles came out really good as well. They came out awesome. They actually look way better than this car. I already put them up next to it. So I'm definitely going to have to buff this whole thing and bring out the shine of this car before I put the handles on. But for today, while that's all curing and taken care of, I want to tackle the intake manifold. We got the new one in, so I first want to take the fuel rail off the old one with all the injectors, put it onto the new one, and then from there, just start installing the thing back into the car and hopefully get this thing to run and clear those codes. Fingers crossed, let's get at it. All right, the engine starts and runs great. Of course, the codes aren't off yet. I still have to go take it for a drive. Hopefully they clear later. But before I do any driving or anything, I want to finish the paint. I want this thing to cure nice, look good, be polished, be ready to go. So with that said, I've been doing a bit of research, and some people say you can cut right away if you do it lightly. Others say you should wait up to 30 days. I'm definitely not waiting 30 days. One of the guys said that he just waited 24 hours before doing this exact style of paint, but you can't always trust stuff like that. So I'm gonna wait a little bit on buffing this paint, probably at least another 24 hours. I literally just put my nail into it just to see how soft it is, and it's still pretty soft. I don't know if you guys can see that little mark I just did. But since that's curing, I want to start getting this side ready so I can put the handles back on the car anyway. So first things first, I'm gonna put up this little window. Then I'm going to probably cut this whole side of the car. I'll probably wash it down by hand with a rag, remove everything, and then I'll come through and kind of buff and polish it the best I can. It's gonna be slow. I wanna make this look really good so I can get it to match these vibrant reds that I have now. So yeah, I'm gonna get after this. All right, the buffing came out amazing. I'm so happy with the results. If you look just how sharp this car is, I don't even think that the video does this justice. I love the handles. They're so nice and glossy. They look so clean. Both of them look very sharp. But if you look at the top, just the buffing from the top rail here is now so close to matching this roof. And then once I throw in the black trim here, you won't even notice that there's a difference between these two colors. It is a few days later and this paint is definitely hard, so it's now time that I can actually buff this. But like I said, it's been a few days, and because I caught some pretty harsh tickles and sniffles, so I think I'm gonna finish everything up in the next episode. But before I forget, I did want to show you guys something. I don't know if you remember when I was working in the street spray painting some clear coat on a Mazda 3, there was a bunch of blotchy little spots similar to what I had here, but in the process of doing it, I ended up leaving these chunks of clear coat all over the place. And just to show you the difference, I put a link to the Mazda 3 episode right here, just to kind of show you what you're able to achieve with a little bit of research and some spray paint at home. But until next time, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I also hope that you guys had a happy new year, and I'll see you then. Later, guys.